Hello everyone, today I got a real quick tutorial for you on how to add combo finishers, the one you see in my videos. I have been asked about this a few times and I've tried to explain it to my best of my ability in the comments, but since it's really quick I'm just going to show you. Now this is my personal project, it has many extra stuff, but as you can see I've created an empty level and a tutorial folder to just demonstrate it for you. The reason I'm showing you this on my project instead of an empty template or the combat system tutorial project that I've been showing on my Patreon, if you've been following, is because this one already has the animations and I didn't want to just create a new combo system from scratch just to showcase this. So let me show you that this is now empty. As you can see, I have no finishing at the end of my combos. It just dies, the character. For that, for the combo finisher, you're going to need a few stuff. I'm just going to explain this. Let me open my character blueprint. I'm showing you this on the ALS for a base, but this will work for any character and any project you have, and just ignore the extra stuff that you see. These are unimportant. I will be showing you everything you need. All you need is a health system for basically checking the character's health, the enemy's health. You're going to need an enemy, of course, whatever you have on your project should work fine. And you are going to need a paired animation. Basically, what I mean by that is one execution animation for your character to play and one for the enemy to play while he's getting executed. And that's all, pretty much. I have already showcased tutorial on the health system, but like I said, anything should work as long as all this has to do is hold a float value for the enemy's health so we can check it while we're attacking. And like I said, ignore this stuff. This is just for the attack animations that are important. Now to start, we are going to create a new blueprint interface so we can check the enemy's health. And let me explain to you real quick how we're going to set this execution system up. Before we attack the enemy, we are going to get its health, and if our attack damage is higher than the current health the enemy has, we are going to play finishing animations, and that's just the gist of it. That's pretty much all it is actually, with a few extra steps, but like I said, it's very simple. Now let's start off by right clicking, and from here we are going to create a blueprint class, and it's going to be, sorry, not from here, we are going to right click, blueprints, blueprint interface. I'm going to call this BPI underscore tutorial, but you can call it whatever you want. Let's just open it up. The first thing we need is going to be a function basically to check the health, so we are going to need an output for that, so the character can report the health of it, how much health it has left. And I'm going to rename this to report health AI. Just again, rename it whatever you want. The output needs to be a float or an integer value depending on which one you're using for your health system. Again, I have a tutorial on that on my Patreon, but you can just find many other tutorials on YouTube. I'm just going to name this health remaining. And we will need to create one more function, but we can do that once we get there. For now, this is enough. And what we're going to do is open our enemy blueprint. I've created an empty graph so we can work on without getting on the other stuff. And go to the class settings. From the class settings, we are going to implement interface. Under the implemented interfaces, click on add, and we are going to type the BPI underscore tutorial. We are going to implement this one, and we are going to compile and save. It should create an interface tab on the left hand side under the My Blueprint tab. If you don't see the My Blueprint, it's under the window, and just under the window click on My Blueprint and you'll see all of this. Now under the interfaces, you can just type the name and it should come up here. Now here, as you can see, it has a health remaining value. For that, we are going to get our health component, or wherever you store your health. If it is a variable, that's fine as well. From our health component, we are going to get the current health of our target, and we're simply going to plug this in. This will report the current health of the AI. Now we can compile and save, close this, get to our character. And on your inputs where the attack is happening, the attack montage is happening, wherever it may be, we are going to, before the attack, we are going to check the enemy's health. Now, I also forgot to mention that I'm using the target system from the marketplace. You can use your own target system or whatever targeting system you use. All this will be used for, in this case, is getting the specific enemy that we are going to apply the execution on. Instead of just doing it on the enemy we hit with the trace, because that would not work very well, because you will be hitting multiple enemies in most of the time. We just need one specific target for this, so I'm just going to use the target system, and from here we are going to get target, get lockdown target actor, get lockdown target actor. This will return the current lockdown target. Again, you can use your own system, you can use this one, you can use whatever you want. All we need is the target actor, a single actor, so we can check the health on. From here, we are simply going to report health AI. Yeah, this one, the newly created one. We are going to do this and plug this here. We can move this downwards. And from here, we are going to create a branch. Let's just create a branch. Actually, before we check this, before we do that, let's also get a is valid node here. Is valid. This one. And if it isn't valid, we're just going to continue with our attack input as normal, because the target might be already dead. It might not be valid for other reasons, and you might not be locked at all. Instead of checking for that, we're just going to check if we are locked and if the target is valid by using a single node. And if it is valid, we are going to continue with this one. This will be connected to a branch, and the condition for that, we are going to get our attack damage wherever you may be storing your attack damage. So I'm just going to get the damage from my combat component, and we are going to check if the damage is greater or equal to the health remaining of our enemy. And if this is false, we are also going to connect this to our regular input. Let me move this like this. And if this is true, this is where we are going to continue with our execution stuff. So I'm just going to create a custom event. Right click, add custom event. I'm just going to call this tutorial execution, just exec whatever. And if this is true, if our damage is greater than the health our target currently has, we are going to go on and call this function, which is tutorial execution. Just type it, and we will continue on with here. Now, for our execution animation, we are going to need to create an anime montage from our animation sequence. So while we're here, let's just do that, and also let's save all. Open up your animation, and actually I forgot to mention that now that I opened the animation. From the edit under the plugins, you're going to need to enable the motion warping. This one, the beta one, you're going to need to enable this, and because we're going to use that to move the character in front of the enemy so the animation can play as it should. It's going to probably require you to restart, so go ahead and do that and come back. From here on the animations, we're going to need to enable root motion for the motion warping to work. And also, on the topic of root motion, you're going to need to click on add on your both of these characters, add the motion warping here, which will be available to you after you enable the plugin, the motion warping under the components. You're going to need to enable that and add it to your character. I've already done that under this one, so I'm not going to do that again, but like I said, you're going to need to do that. And from here, we're going to create two montages from the animations. Right click on the animation you have and create anime montage. I'm going to call this tutorial P for player and the other one tutorial A for AI. Create anime montage tutorial A for AI. The reason I'm naming these as such, so I can have quick access to it. I have already made different anime montages. I don't want to look through them. Now save them all. Here we will add the motion warping on this, and we are also going to create an anim notify window so we can deal actual damage to the character that we are performing the execution on. But now that we have created these two animations, we're going to need to add them to our character as a variable. So I'm just going to go up and create a variable, and I'm going to name this tutorial executions, yeah, whatever. And from here you want this variable type to be an anim montage first of all. So type anim montage, and under the anim montage it's going to need to be an object reference. Make it an object reference, and from the right hand side, this blue thing here, click on this, and from here we want to make this a map, and we are going to make the map to another anim montage, basically anim montage object reference, if I can type, montage object reference. Now we are going to need to compile so we can set these values. We're going to add one map to here, and first one is going to be our execution. The player will be playing the anim montage, and the second one is for the AI. I'm going to go ahead and type tutorial here, P for the player, and again tutorial, A for AI, and I'm going to compile and save. And since this is the base character, it just added all this to other characters, don't worry about that. What I'm also going to do is open the tutorial blueprint interface and create one more function. This one is going to be AI. Actually, let me name tutorial as well, tutorial AI get execute, whatever. It's going to need to have an input of an anim montage. We are going to tell the enemy what montage to play from our character, and the reason we are doing this is so you can have multiple values for this, multiple montages, and the enemy will know which one to play if you play a random execution montage. But I'm not going to show you how to create it on multiple different animations. It's pretty much the same thing as this one, just applied multiple times. So this way you can use multiple animations without actually going through them by hand. And I'm going to name this montage to play. Compile this and save. And let's implement this event on our enemy blueprint on the tutorial graph. Right click and tutorial AI get executed event, this one. Now on our character blueprint we are going to start working on this custom event. From here we are going to get our current target actor, and we are going to get another isValid. If it isn't, we're not going to do anything. If it is, we are going to promote this to a variable. So we don't have to call it every time, promote to variable. And just in case we switch targets or whatever during the actual dealing damage part. Actually, I don't think it would matter anyways, but still. I'm going to name this again, I'm going to start with tutorial, so I know which one it is. And tutorial execution target. And we are going to promote this to a variable. From here, we are going to get actor rotation, and then we are going to get forward vector. So we are using this to create motion warping target for our character, but this isn't the only way. If you want more precise motion warping, what you can do is you can create motion warping target on your character blueprint, or sorry, the enemy character blueprint, and then use its location and rotation as a target for your motion warping. Basically what I mean is, let me show you the anime reference here. These are what I use for motion warping if I want really precise motion warping, as this will follow the enemy while the enemy is moving and rotating or whatever. But for this case, I personally don't need to have really precise motion warping, because this one just works fine, and I think it adds a bit more realism to it if the character doesn't always go exactly where the target would be in that case. As long as the sword gets through the character, that's fine for me, and this should just about cover it. And we are going to copy this one, put it downwards, so we are also going to get the forward vector of our character, and we are going to get a dot product of these two values. What this does is it will compare the two values to rotation of our characters, and it will return a value between -1 and 1. 1 meaning both characters are looking the same way, and -1 meaning the characters are looking at each other, pretty much, which is what we want. So we are going to get a nearly equal float function here, node, so we can check if the characters are looking towards each other for the execution to work. And the value we want for that, as I've said, is -1. And I'm going to add an error tolerance of 0.22. Just 0.22, or maybe you can put a lower value. 0.25 means you can do it from the sides. I'm going to put 0.22 to start with. If it is too much, you can always tweak this. Error tolerance, as the name suggests, is how much tolerance you have for this value to be correct, basically. Anyways, from here we are going to create a branch. This, however, will not be our only condition for this. We are going to get more conditions. From the return value, I'm going to add an AND boolean node here. The another one will be if our character is currently falling, for example, from the character movement component is falling. I'm just showing you this as a showcase what you can do with it. We don't want our character to be falling while performing this. And another one would be if your enemy is currently blocking or parrying or whatever it's doing. I'm not going to show you that, but if it is the case, you probably don't want to use the execution while the enemy is currently blocking your attacks. That should be one of the variables, and you can add more variables to this. For now, I'm just going to add 2 variables for the showcase purposes, and I'm going to connect this as the condition here. So it should be is falling, not is falling. So make this a not boolean. Make this a not boolean and connect this instead. Now we can compile and save. Okay, so if all this is correct, we are going to go on with our code, and we are going to go on by getting our execution target. And also, actually, let's move this aside. We're not going to do that just yet. We are going to get our tutorial executions. And from here, we are going to get a play montage node. We are going to get our character mesh. We are going to connect this to the skeletal mesh component. Okay, so for the montage to play part, I don't think you can actually get it from the map. This is for hiding it for the target. So I'm going to just simply create a new variable real quick. This one I'm going to first off set it as an array and anim montage. And the reason we are setting this as an array, so we can have multiple animations for this. I'm just going to get one tutorial player. And from here, we're just going to again name it as whatever you need to name it. I'm going to leave this for now. From here, just get type get or a random array item, and this will return to you the index of which animation is giving you. As you can see, it writes the index here, and it will also return a random animation, but since there's only one, it's just going to return one. And I'm going to put it in the montage to play, and we're going to move this aside. We're also going to get our motion warping component, and from here we are going to add or update warp target from location and rotation. So we are going to get this. We are going to move this aside, and we're going to need to name a warp target. This will be used in the animation later on. Warp target, let's name it player execution for short. We will connect this like so, and for the rotation we're going to get a look at rotation, and but before that we're going to get the target location. The target location is going to be, let's delete this for now. Let's get our tutorial execution target. We're going to get actor location, and then we are going to again get actor rotation, and we are going to get forward vector once again, and we are going to multiply this forward vector by the distance we want our character to be further away from our execution target. And to do that, I'm just going to convert this from vector to a float, and let's set 150 units. Should be fine. If it is too much or too little, we can just come back and tweak this. And we are going to simply add this to the location of our target, and this will serve as our target location. And for the rotation, we are going to find again the look at rotation of this character. To find the look at rotation, we are going to get actor rotation of our own character, and we are going to simply type find look at, where do I get this? Oh, we got the rotation, that's right. We're going to need to get actor location, this one, and from here find look at rotation. The start is going to be our character, and target is going to be our target character's location, and this will be the target rotation for our motion warping. So far we put the montage in, the target for our motion warping, and now all we have to do is set up the actual montage, which is this one. First off, let's again make sure the root motion is enabled for this, and I'm going to add another notify track. And from the part where the character starts to move around here, I'm going to right click, add notify state, and then motion warping state. And I'm going to drag this motion warping state around where the character starts his swing, so like so. And if you click on the motion warping, you're going to get a few options here. So the root motion modifier, we want this to be a skew warp. It will tell you what it is, I think, or maybe not. Anyways, and extend this one so we can work on other stuff. Warp target name is going to be the exact name that we used in here, so we're going to copy this one directly, and we're going to put it here. We're going to warp transition, and then we can ignore the z-axis or not if you want to, but I think for this to work you're going to need to have the character in flying movement state. I think, I'm not so sure, maybe not. I'm just going to left it unchecked. And the transition easing function is linear, we can leave it as that, or we can choose any one of these curves. And we are going to set the warp rotation to true, and the rotation type is we're going to leave it as default. And if this is the wrong rotation, we can choose this one, which should be the opposite of the default one. And the warp rotation multiplier is the time where the character will finish its rotation. Basically, it says it here if you read it. So you can probably lower this value to get better results, but I'm going to, for the starters, I'm going to leave it at 1, and if it doesn't work, we can come back and make it lower. And this should pretty much be it for now. We can come back and handle this later on. Let's save this, get back to our character. And now after, as soon as we start the montage, we are going to call the custom event on the tutorial event on our target. So from here we are going to call tutorial AI get executed message, this one. It needs to be a message. And for the montage to play, we're going to find this, but before that, let's get our target connected like so. For the montage, we are going to get our map, and we are going to get a find node here. Find node. And for the asset, we are going to, you can either get an anim instance if you have set this as a variable, or you can get it from the mesh. Get your mesh from here, anim instance, get anim instance, this one, from our mesh. And from the anim instance, we are going to get current montage, current active montage, and we will connect this here. We will connect it to the montage to play. And now we will get to our enemy and we will continue from here. First off, we are going to get our mesh, and we are going to get a play montage, and we will connect it like so. For the montage to play, we'll connect it directly to the montage part. And also, it's a good idea to make the characters collision and turn off the character's collision, so our character can freely move through him and stop him during the animation. To do that, get the capsule component and set response to collision channel. Connect it. The channel is going to be pawn, and the new response is going to be ignore. And let's move this aside, and let's get the character movement component, and we are going to make it so stop movement immediately, so the character stops when we start this function. Now normally you would want to disable the AI of the character so it doesn't do whatever it wants to do during the animation. And but since I've already disabled the AI for the tutorial, I'm not going to show you that. It's very basic, just disable the AI. And let's compile. Now I'm sure I'm missing some parts. Okay, we need to also set this character's rotation as well. And I guess we can do that with the motion warping, but before that, let's just test it, see everything works. If everything works. It should work when I hit this guy and his health gets lower. He should. Yep, that's pretty much it. And of course we didn't deal any damage yet, so he didn't die. We're going to need to, and now that I've disabled the collision, I can't lock onto him anymore. Let me try it again. Yeah, perfectly working, as you can see. Now all we need to do is add the damage to it. Now again, we could set this target's rotation to match our character's rotation if you want to, the same way with it with the motion warping, or if you want it to be directly set without interpolating, you can also set it on the character's blueprint. Just set actor rotation, and again find the look at rotation and set it directly from there. But what we want to do is on the, where's our animation here? Okay, on the part where the animation ends, right around here, we want to deal damage. So you can add a custom anim notify and make it so every hit deals damage and the final hit finishes the character off. But for the sake of simplicity, I'm just going to create a regular right click notify state montage notify window, this one. Let's start it from here, and when the character deals the final blow around here, we'll just save it. We'll deal the damage directly from our character blueprint. from the on notify end, we are going to apply damage, and we are going to, let's apply 200 damage, make sure he dies. And the damaged actor is going to be our target, and he should die after that. Now, like I said, you could just create a custom anim notify. I've showcased the anim notifies many times in my tutorials to apply damage on each swing and then finish the character off. But this should work also directly doing it from here. So let's compile and save. As you can see, he just died immediately. Or if you want it to be better, I guess you can extend this damaging part to where the character ends, or you can also, something else you can do is move the anim notify here and deal the damage from the character's the target's function itself if you want to. That way you can pick exact frame where you want the character to die by moving it here, but since I've already done it on the other animation, I'm just going to go ahead and move this aside to be around here, I guess, so the character doesn't just plop. Yeah, as you can see, he just died. I've showcased you a pretty simple version of what I use on my own project, but you can just apply what I showed you here onto your own project and tweak it as you go along, since I'm showing you this as pretty much an empty project, how you would implement it on an empty project. I didn't go very much in depth on how to do a few stuff, and I feel like I'm missing a few things here, but since the animation just works fine, and like I said, I've disabled the AI, so since again, also make sure you put an attacking state on this so you can just continue attacking during the animation for both characters, for your own character and this guy. But like I said, this is how you would implement it in an empty project, so I'm not going to show you the AI stuff. I'm not going to show you how to stop the player from continuing to attack. You can just figure it on your own if you gotten to this part where you got an already attacking animation and you already got an AI to work with. I'm sure you can handle it. It's very simple stuff. Okay, so real quick on the parts where we're not doing anything, such as is not valid part and the false part, or the other parts where we're not actually doing anything, make sure to connect this to your original attacking input part, the action input in my case. So when these conditions are not met, either one of these are not met, your character doesn't just stand there and it continues to attack regularly. That's pretty much it. But anyways, thank you for watching, and if you have any questions, just make sure to ask them in the comments. Like I said, I think I didn't go over everything, but I can't remember what to add right now. If you have any problems, if you got any problems with the system or something doesn't work as intended, just make sure to ask it in the comments, and I'll gladly reply to you and try to fix your problems. Anyways, thank you for watching, and see you next time.